Welcome back to CAISTROLOGY, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Cailin, and today I'm going to be doing your March 2021 horoscope. I recommend watching the horoscope for your ascendant sign first and foremost, because it will be the most overall accurate horoscope for you, but of course feel free to watch for your sun and moon horoscopes as well. I've just posted my tarot predictions for March 2021, so I'll leave a link in the description box below. That is a pick a card tarot reading. If you're interested in seeing my monthly horoscopes or my monthly tarot readings, please subscribe to CAISTROLOGY, as those go up at the end of each month for the following month. And lastly, guys, I do private readings for astrology and tarot. These are via video call, so if you want to connect with me, I'll leave a link in the description box, but you can find that at caistrology.com. Without further ado, let's dive straight into the March horoscopes. Hi Taurus, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your March 2021 horoscope. The month starts off with Mars entering the sign of Gemini on the 4th of March, where it will remain for 7 weeks. With Mars transiting your second house, this will affect your finances, anything that you value, literal valuables and possessions, and anything that you keep in storage. So with Mars being in the second house, we will see a lot of Taurians tending to any kind of unnecessary hoarding that may have been going on. And for Taurians, this is extremely common. So with Mars being in your second house, you will be essentially getting rid of anything that no longer serves you, whether that's clothing, a random collection that you have of sorts. It could even be something like a spoon collection or a stamp collection. And in any case, this transit, which we only see every couple of years, because that's how long a Mars cycle takes, we can really see Taurians tending to the things that matter when it comes to your finances, okay? So we'll be looking at how, as Taurians, I'm a Taurus as well, we'll be looking at how we're budgeting, how we're planning. Are we spending unnecessary amounts of money on anything? Because the second house represents the way in which we indulge ourselves, and that can be shopping purchases, that can be going out for expensive dinners, because the second house also rules food and luxury, and Mars as a planet rules fixing things, strategizing, and in a very literal sense, it represents sharp objects. So this can be thought of as cutting out things which no longer serve us. And that could also be anything that you do which adds to your financial income, okay? If you have an additional stream of income, but it's no longer in alignment with your values, also represented by the second house, you may make a sacrifice where you say, this is taking me away from the things that I value and it's taking up too much time, so I'm actually going to have to sacrifice it. Now, on the 7th of March, we will see the Mercury retrograde post-shadow period finally being finished, okay? So Mercury stationed direct on the 21st of February, but we always see a 2-week post-shadow period. So now the dust is really well and truly settled when it comes to your 10th house of career, public image, and public visibility. So once the post-shadow period is over, this is when the ways in which we have been rethinking and redoing certain things in that house are actually becoming crystallized and cemented. So in a nutshell, a lot of Taurians will have been thinking about their career, their public image, and what they want to be known for. And we may see some drastic actions that have been taken with regard to the 10th house, especially because we're just coming off of the back of the Saturn square Uranus transit, okay? And we still have we still have Saturn and Jupiter being in your 10th house. So as a Taurus, you may have reached some kind of mental resolution when it comes to the ways in which you were unhappy at work or in your chosen career. And some of you may be making the decision to essentially leave your job, leave any department that you're in, changing departments or changing industries. And some Taurians, after this retrograde period, may have flat out decided that they want to work for themselves. That's another way that this can play out. Now, on the 13th of March, we will see a new moon in Pisces in your 11th house. Now, this new moon is occurring at 23 degrees, and it's in a very tight conjunction with both Venus, your ruling planet, and also Neptune. Not every single new moon or full moon affects all 12 signs in a very profound way, but given that your ruling planet Venus is involved in this new moon very tightly, as I said, with this conjunction, this will be a big new beginning for a lot of Taurians, or certainly for Taurus risings. This will affect you more so than the suns and the moons. So with the new moon always indicating a new beginning or a new chapter, in some respect being in your 11th house, this will be pertaining to new initiatives regarding your life goals, your dreams, and how you see the bigger picture for your future. On a different level, we can see new beginnings or a new chapter starting with respect to any friendship group that you're a part of, and we can see a new friendship group forming. Now, I just want to make a note that we see the seeds of this being planted now over the next 4 weeks between the new moon in Pisces and the new moon in Aries, which will take place next month, but you won't see the full culmination of this take effect for 6 months, all right, until we have a full moon in Pisces, or it could even be 18 months, which will be the full moon in Pisces next year. Now, this could affect you on a community level, okay? Any community that you are a part of or that you are now joining during this 4-week period, there can be a new chapter. It could be a community that you are currently with and you are working together in a collaborative effect, or in a collaborative way, which can see you working on a long-term project. And again, we see the rewards or the culmination of this in 6 months or 18 months. But something to bear in mind is that with this conjunction with Neptune, we see that there needs to be some kind of sacrifice that is made. Okay, so Neptune always represents sacrifice or loss in some instances, and considering that it's conjunct Venus, your ruling planet, we can see that you may have to sacrifice a relationship to pursue these long-term goals. You may have to sacrifice a friendship to make room for another new friendship circle. On a totally different level, Venus also rules your 6th house. So perhaps to achieve this long-term goal or vision that you have, or this community that you want to be a part of, there may be new changes to your working environment and your working conditions. Maybe it's not going to be as cushy as what you're used to. Or for some of you, you could simply be volunteering, and this is a sacrifice that we make. Maybe you're doing some unpaid work, but it's benefiting your community or your charity. Now, on the 16th of March, we will see Mercury entering the sign of Pisces, and it's at 11 degrees. So with Mercury in your 11th house, there can be a lot of communication with your wider network that you're a part of, or perhaps with some older siblings or your friendship circle. Now, there could be a lot of thinking or discussions happening with regard to your long-term goals and futures. And this is a business planet in a business house. Mercury is the quintessential business planet, and the 11th house is all about networking and connecting. So a lot of you may be meeting or connecting with some very important individuals who become instrumental in any business that you own or any kind of collaboration that you are in. or perhaps you could meet people that you are working with in a business capacity in the future. Now, on the 22nd of March, Venus will enter the sign of Aries. Oh, sorry, we've also got the Sun entering Aries on the 20th of March, okay? So Sun and Aries, 2 days apart, both entering your 12th house, effectively kicks off Aries season. Now, with the Sun being in the 12th house for the next 4 weeks, there will be a lot of interest on your part in anything to do with spirituality, the occult industry, expressing yourself creatively, or even an interest in becoming more introspective, okay? A lot of you could be working with a psychologist during this period, and certainly with Venus being in your 12th house, meditating, psychological appointments or sessions with your therapist, or even, seeing an astrologer or a tarot reader will yield helpful and beneficial results, and this will allow you to gain a lot of insight into your own inner psyche, and this will just be the focus for you really for the next 4 weeks. And if you've never been interested in these things before, someone might actually enter your life who introduces you to such things, and I strongly suspect that it'll be a woman or someone with very feminine energy, because we have Venus here being in the 12th house. Now, on the 27th of March, there will be a full moon in Libra at 8 degrees, and this is occurring in your 6th house. Now, in any full moon, we always have the Sun and the full moon being in opposite signs. So while the Sun is being in the sign of Aries, we will see the moon being in Libra, and this will again have a big impact on you, Taurus, because the Sun is exactly conjunct Venus, which is your ruling planet. So this can play out in a number of different ways. Just bear with me, because this is a general reading and this won't affect you on every level. So just listen to the next 4 or 5 points that I'm going to make to see which one will apply to your situation. So for a lot of Taurus Sun, Moon and Risings, we can see the end of a health issue, which is amazing. And because we're seeing this trine to Mars being in Gemini, this can be connected to food, because the 2nd house rules food and anything that we're ingesting. And we have the Sun and Venus being in your 12th house, which represents a psychological nature. So this health issue may have been connected to allergies or any kind of addiction that you have, abusing any kind of substance, because that's represented by the 6th house and the 12th house. And again, the 2nd house is representing anything that we're ingesting. So the health issue can be coming to a close over the next month. On a different level, you can be kicking some kind of bad habit or, a routine which you've always wanted to discard, but you've had a lot of issues doing so. And this could be because you're having a change in values, right? With your with this trine to Mars in your 2nd house, this is anything that we value, and Mars is very strategic, okay? So now you're able to plan how you are doing things, what you are eating. This could also be connected to smoking as well, because the 2nd house rules the mouth. So for some of you, perhaps this end of a bad habit or routine is being born from it negatively affecting your public image or your career. We see this trine from the moon to Saturn and Jupiter being in Aquarius in your 10th house. Maybe your boss has said, smoking's a bad look for you. We don't want you to do this anymore. Or perhaps you're cleaning up your image because you're worried about how this is going to look once you achieve a position of authority or leadership, or if you're coming into the public eye, or even if you're the face of your own business and you're just concerned about how these habits and routines are going to affect you with performing at a higher level in your career. Now, for other Taurians, Taurus Sun, Moon, and Risings, we can see the completion of a work project, and this can yield a really positive result because it's the full moon. If I was saying new moon before, I meant to say full moon. This is trining your second house. So we can see you having your bank account fatten up a bit as a result of completing this work project. Now, for some of you, and this is what I'm going to end your horoscope on, you could be leaving your job altogether, okay? The sixth house rules your job, your working environment, and the full moons represent the ending of a chapter and the ending of a cycle. And perhaps this is born from you having a total shift in your subconscious, all right? Because we have Venus, your ruling planet, being in your 12th house of the subconscious self. And, now you're actually, with the sun being conjunct Venus, there's a lot of attention on how this has been disturbing your sleep patterns, how this has been making you feel at a deep psychological level that you have some kind of conscious awareness now. And on another note, some of you may actually be finishing up your stay in another country if you were living there, whether that's for love, for romance, or perhaps you were living abroad for work. This can now be coming to a close. In any case, Taurus, I see this as being a very, very healing and beneficial full moon for you on the 27th of March. Just allow about 4 weeks for these effects to take place though. Anyway, Taurus, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content from me, please subscribe to CAISTROLOGY. As I said, I do offer private one-on-one readings for astrology and also tarot, so you can find those at CAISTROLOGY.com. Enjoy March 2021, and I will see you guys next time.